Well, good morning, everyone. Another early start with a nice hot cup of tea. So just kind of enjoying hanging out here while the sky is getting a little lighter. It's pretty windy earlier, but it's calmed down a bit. So hopefully means that there'll be some decent opportunities to take some photos today. I think I'm going to take it kind of easy in the morning and just go around with my scouting pack and survey the area, look for some compositions. And if I find something, maybe head back and get the big camera. But this is, I think this is my 6th day here now. And as a result, I tend to get a little worn out. So I think going out with a lighter pack might be a good thing. But the conditions are great here. The skies are clear. And so long as the wind cooperates, there might be some good opportunities today for some photos. So we'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to it. One of the things I love about Zion is just going for a little wander. It seems like things are just changing all the time. I mean, from day to day, the color is changing quite a bit here, and from year to year, it's really interesting how the color is so different. And the washes themselves are rearranged from year to year with the floods that go through here and move around the sand and the rocks. So I've walked the same wash many, many years now, but it looks different every single time. Kind of reinvents itself. I'm hoping to find something today, but I also want to take it easy because, in all honesty, my knee's starting to bug me just a little bit. Kind of twisted it kind of weird yesterday. So, spend some time scouting around, carry my lightweight pack. If I find something, that'd be great. I'll grab my camera and come back and get a photo. I love it out here. So the washes this year in Zion are especially dry. They didn't have much of a monsoon season, so there's a lot of areas with this really deep cracked mud, especially at the curves of the washes here. And this area here is especially clean looking because it's kind of a lighter colored mud, and there's some fall leaves kind of in there, kind of scattered about. So I'm just looking at the scene and trying to figure out when it would be best to photograph it. It's gonna be in direct sunlight here pretty soon, but I'm thinking kind of in the early afternoon, it'll have some pretty good light on it. So took some pictures of it with my iPhone and made some mental notes as well. And we'll see about possibly revisiting it as the day goes on. So that's much of what I do, just wandering, looking for things that catch my eye and come up with a plan as far as when it'd be best to come back and photograph them. Well, I'm really enjoying this morning. Just going for a little bit of a wander. And it's just so nice and relaxing. And this is one of the things I really, really love about these landscape photography trips. And while I've been hiking around here, I've been thinking about the trajectory of my photo trips. Usually the first 3 days are pretty hectic, kind of getting used to the conditions of a location and covering a lot of ground, scouting areas, and coming up with a plan of what to shoot. But once I start exposing some film, and start taking some photos that I feel pretty happy about, then I don't really have the same pressure on me anymore, which gives me the ability to kind of wander around, relax, and really enjoy my time out here. And I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself to come away with some photos that I'm really going to enjoy, and I think that kind of eats into the enjoyment of the first few days of the trip. But now at this phase, it's kind of coasting a little bit. Have the satisfaction of knowing that hopefully I have some decent work so far. You guys have seen it, I haven't, but hopefully there's a few keepers in the mix. but this is quite nice. Found a couple things that might work for some potential photos, but we'll see on that. But yeah, it is so nice and calm and beautiful here in Zion. This is the sort of Zion that I really love. So I think I might have found something kind of interesting. There's this cottonwood tree that I walked past this morning, and when I walked past it a second time, it had some better light on it. And it's situated down in a slot canyon, which makes it a little challenging because the only angle to really get at it is where it's set up against kind of a light colored section of sandstone. So it doesn't really differentiate the tree as much as I'd like from the background. But it's really cool looking. And I think in a couple years' time, the tree will be too big to photograph in this composition. So I figured I'd bring my camera and see if I can at least get a composition on this one. It's right up ahead here. So I've arrived at my potential shooting location here. I'm really hoping this one works out, but this has proven to be a tricky subject. So if I spin you around here, you'll see what I'm working with. So there's this really beautiful cottonwood tree back there. It's tucked away in the corner of this canyon. But it's difficult because I'm trying to find the best placement for my camera so that the tree doesn't blend in with the background. There's some bright areas back there, and the tree itself is quite bright, and the color range is pretty similar between the tree and the background. So I think I came up with the best possible solution for the scenario here, and hopefully it'll be pretty decent, but I'm definitely curious how it's going to look on film. I'll be photographing this on color negative film on Kodak Ektar. There's a wide range of contrast in the scene. It's quite bright up top, it's very dark down below there, and color negative film can handle that. But the tricky part is it's going to require a really long exposure. So by the time you account for reciprocity failure and all this other stuff you have to do for long exposures, you're looking at about a 30-second long exposure. And there's just a very subtle breeze, just a really tiny, subtle little breeze that's just making those leaves just move around just the tiniest little bit. And which means after a 30-second long exposure, they're just going to be a blurry mess. So I've been sitting here waiting for a while. I'm really hoping this breeze calms down. It usually does. Usually it just comes in waves. So let's hope that the breeze just settles down and I can expose the film. All right, this is gonna be 30 seconds, F45. The wind has calmed down. I've been here about an hour and it has just been constant slight breeze, but the wind is calm. So let's do this. Still super calm. Come on. It's good. You don't know how long I was waiting for that. That's good. I don't quite know what to think about this composition. I did the best that I could. I tried a couple different angles, and there's one angle where there was some kind of white sandstone back behind the tree. That just didn't look very good. I positioned it this way where the trunk is set up against some more kind of orangey sandstone, kind of a bright spot. So I did the best I could.
I've learned through the years that you should approach every subject and every photo as though it's destined for your portfolio. Most of the time, the photo will fall short, and very few images will truly stand the test of time. But approaching each image with this level of care and dedication is bound to pay off. After shooting the photo, I spent some time exploring some nearby slot canyons that aren't typically accessible. They're usually filled with several feet of stagnant water, and it was an unusual treat to venture into them on foot. I later returned to camp and had lunch. The weather was absolutely beautiful, so I hitched up my trailer and rode into the main canyon. Despite having mixed thoughts about the photo I shot that morning, it felt great to expose some film I look forward to seeing what the afternoon would bring.
So after getting back to camp, decided to hop on my bike and head up to the main canyon. I gotta say, that was a lot of fun. It was like being a kid again. I guess it's pretty much like being a kid again because I was riding the same bike I got when I was like in the 6th grade. But that all being said, it really reminded me of when I first started coming here to Zion. I think it was like the last Sunday of October was the cutoff point. After that, you could, drive your car up the main canyon. I love those days. The shuttle bus is awesome, but it doesn't work as well for me just because it's hard getting on there with a pack. But it's so fun just getting on my bike and heading over here. And fall color right now in the main canyon, it's perfectly shootable. So I think I'm going to spend a lot of time here in the days to come. I just love the glows here in the afternoons and in the mornings. Maples are looking good, cottonwoods are looking good, so I got my camera with me just in case I find something, but it's more of a scouting mission. Man, this place is awesome. So I haven't found anything to point my camera at yet, but it's kind of a sensory overload sort of experience right now. I'm just coming up with all kinds of plans as far as areas I want to spend a lot of time scouting and what time of day is going to be best for that. Definitely know some areas I want to scout tomorrow afternoon, and I think about maybe even doing the Narrows tomorrow morning. So we'll see on that. But it's so nice down here. Nice breeze. And the breeze is nice when you're not shooting photos. When you're shooting photos, the breeze is not so nice. But the light is so nice. Everything's bathed in reflected light down here. Man, oh man. This is cool. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed my time scouting in the main canyon. And I think there's a lot of opportunities here. In some ways, it kind of feels rejuvenating. It kind of feels like this is day one all over again. But without the pressure of having to go and find, all kinds of really cool photos right away. So I think it's fitting that I end the video today here in the main canyon, just going for a little stroll. And I came up with a plan for what I want to do here in the coming days. And some of the maples are looking really good. Like big cottonwoods are still pretty green, which is good, but some of the smaller trees are turning nice and yellow. So, man, oh man, this was a good day. I'm gonna head back to camp, make myself some dinner, and probably should have loaded a little bit of film. I want to thank everyone for watching. We'll see you around next time.
I've always been fascinated by the perception of our own work and how that perception changes with time. There are those photos we love at first sight, but perhaps our enthusiasm fades with the memories of the scene. And then there are those photos that we might overlook at first, only to later realize that the photo we captured that day might not be the one we were hoping for, but perhaps it's even better. That's the case for the photo I shot on day 6. I was initially quite disappointed with this image. The exposure, focus, and color are all just fine, but I didn't like how the top of the tree visually merges with the canyon wall behind it. 2 months have now passed and my perception has changed. This is a photo of duality, delicate leaves set against cold stone, in a canyon that's harsh and void of color at its base, yet filled with warm reflected light up top. The tree quite literally straddles the divide and thrives in a truly harsh environment. It's one with the land, yet steadfast as an individual. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.
If you enjoy this ad-free and clickbait-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution of just $24 a year helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. For more information on how to support me and my work, please visit the donation section of my website at benhorn.com/donate. I also have prints and my portfolio box set available on my website. You can find a direct link down below in the show notes. Thanks in advance for your support.